fix the lighting. There's always something, isn't there? Hello and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull, and my window capture isn't on there. Now it is. That works. How is everybody? There we go. Everything where it needs to be so we can do this. And let's get started with a little bit of Geoguessr. Okay, we are at right angles to a street, a road, with some faded paint, some palm trees, and some mountains in the distance. A feeling this is going to be South America, but it could be a few other places too. Let's see what we find. Falcon's Crest, okay. Okay, this is some... What is this, a fucking private residence here? Stefan and Elsa Lombard. Okay, who the fuck are they when they're at home? They, like, have this compound here. Oh, okay, we're in South Africa. I didn't mean to look... I wasn't trying to find that, I was just trying to find who they were. But we're someplace in Western Cape, anyway. Hoping I would find out who without finding out where. But okay, so we're someplace in South Africa. The West Cape area. Sherwoods. Afro-Pro. Yeah, it was just in Cape Town, too. So, how's everybody doing, chat? What road is this? Peace. I mean, I guess this is probably someplace near Stellenbosch. That seems to be part of Stellenbosch. Seems to be where the posh people live in Western Cape. Personally, I've had a hell of a day. Bottle. Long hook. Rebake vase. Mackie's Fontaine. Montague, Scapersers. Storms fly, Bredesdorp. Wolfengat. Wolf's asshole. Neat. Yeah, this has got to be around Stellenbosch. I'm not sure exactly where Somerset West is, but this just screams money. It was on the exact opposite end of the fucking country. We're in... Where's this? Agatha Forest Reserve. Agatha Crocodile Ranch. Okay, I guess you don't get many burglars at a crocodile ranch. Well, that's how big South Africa is as well. That you can be in the right country and still lose as many as 2,000 points. Like, South Africa bloody huge. Okay, this looks like North America. Maybe Plains, maybe Midwest, not sure. But we're gonna find out. Black Canyon Junction. 1 mile. Okay, that sounds like the US. Nice to have a route number. Hello, Jill S. And yeah, maybe Colorado. Incidentally, Jill, are you in the Discord? Yeah, Colorado seems possible, though it's quite flat. Black Canyon Hotel. Motel. Here, let me drop that link into chat for you. It's very much a work in project. Yeah, Colorado, it means like having colors, colorful. Lo que tiene color. Okay, Black Canyon Junction again. Okay. Since we're passing an exit, we should be getting some distance signs soon. Something that maybe tells us what road we're on. Have that, I can kind of work out the rest. And what are the cheeses doing? Yeah, We're definitely in the US. Speed limit. 80 speed limit. You don't see that many places. I mean, unless it's kilometers. Oh shit. My mic. If you're wondering why the audio isn't great, it's because I did not bring my mic back to the proper position. Oh, very cool. Baker City or Ontario? There's an Ontario in California. I wonder if it's Ontario, California we're looking at. Los Baños, Chowchilla. Ah, interesting. Christmas Valley. Terrebonne. Oh, very cool. I guess in your line of work, you could, when people come up to ask for something, you could ask them, have you found cheeses? Love transport, and the picture is of a tiger that looks like it's about to maul you. I think I'm getting mixed messages from this transport company. Come on, a route number or something. Oh, this is really, like, this is taking forever. Oh, we got a route number coming up in this midst of this cloud of pixelation. New Plymouth, US Highway 30. There's 20. Oh, there's Ontario, okay. Like, but that's Route 20. Durkee. Durkee! I wonder if that's the hot sauce place. Oh, here's Baker City. Okay, I think we found it. Right on the Oregon-Idaho border. I mean, that would be a weird coincidence if that's not the Durkee that's named after. Oh, there's New Plymouth. 20 kilometers off. No, okay, that's better than the last round anyway. Okay, this feels like Central Europe somehow, possibly Hungary. Oh, hey, wait, we just passed signs. Krajišnik Jashatomich Žitište Nova Crnja. Okay, that looks like Croatia to me. No Cyrillic. Three flags. Looks like it must be a war memorial or something. Novalia, Bashka, Novigrad, Umag. Hello, the Schlendrian. How are you? Haven't seen you in a bit. Okay. Sutjeska Sitchan Vrshats Zrenjanin. Okay, these are all small towns, I get the feeling. I don't know why, but my feeling is that this is closer to the coast, but that could be based on nothing. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is based on nothing. Bashka Voda, Makarska, Ploče, Metković, Lumbarda, Vela Luka, Vis, Starigrad. Okay, none of these place names mean anything to me, but the fact that there's no Cyrillic strongly suggests to me that we are in Croatia rather than Serbia, Montenegro, or Bosnia and Herzegovina. Okay, I'm just gonna say someplace in Croatia. Hell, I was in Serbia. Okay. I think that's the first time I've been in Serbia as well. Yes, Belarus uses exclusively Cyrillic. 3750 still. Okay. This could be this could be kind of anywhere, really, so far. I'll admit I've never made a study of the paint on motorways. I could probably learn quite a lot by doing so. Clarence McGee Lane. Okay, that sounds like North America. Yeah, what I did not realize is that they had road signs that with no Cyrillic on them in Serbia. Because Serbia is one of the places where they tend to use a fair bit of Cyrillic. And then Montenegro always uses Cyrillic and Latin alphabet on their signs, both. Okay, are we gonna get anything approaching a main road, or is this it for... Oh wait, that said miles per hour. Okay, we're definitely in the US. Wherever the hell Clarence McGee is. Okay. This is not the most informative area I've ever seen. This could be bloody anywhere. Got at least an area code or something. I mean, this could be the Midwest. This could be Pacific Northwest, you know, far enough inland. This could be parts of the South. It could be bloody anywhere. Yeah. Southern Midwest would track. Abum hamkena numyo unmyo 같이 하네. Okay. Getting bored with this out of focus road, so I'm just gonna say someplace around Kentucky. It was Mississippi. I've had better rounds just today. Okay, at least this is in focus. Okay, definitely not the US or Canada. I've been dealing with a fair bit of real life as well. Depression garbage, that sounds like a hell of a task. I know what that can be like. What are you moving me backwards, Geoguessr? What the hell is that? I thought we had an understanding, you and me. A blank sign. The IRS sent me a letter telling me that I owe them $574 over a tentative carryback application I'm supposed to have filed. The thing is, I didn't file anything like that, nor would I file an application to owe more money. Italian wine and Italian cheese both sound good right about now. Meanwhile, the bottom is kind of fallen out of my corner of the translation world, and I've just been kind of scrambling to find, okay, no further than here. Okay, so I guess we're going this way then? Festa d'Aprile, I ribelli della montagna. That's one of the best. Okay, Spring Drive Estate. Rural lifestyle, town conveniences, no clear geographical indicator. Although, this makes me think South Africa, maybe Australia, maybe NZ. South Africa often looks like a greener Australia. Auction. The auction house is called Corona. That's kind of on the nose. What flag is that? It's either Australia or NZ. It's definitely not South Africa. Orford Street Racecourse. I mean, I'm thinking Australia? I mean, maybe some of the Western District looks like this in Victoria? I mean, definitely not the US with these. Please limit compression braking in residential areas. Karoa. Okay, let's just see. Let's just have a punt and look at Victoria, see if there's a Karoa. Maybe at Warrnambool Way. Burnham, Kudgee, Minja, Garigerup, Viaduct North, Hamilton, Glenn Thompson, Bullock, Terang, Irawillip, Yulong. Ah, the Otways. Heard that's lovely. They're in Yalek, we write Bannockburn. Mount Macedon. That's where people who get too rich for fucking, for Kew or Kensington end up living. Pelong, Chewton, Wandong Heathcote Junction, Belinda. Oh, that's the name of the major Australian audiobook company. Canumbra, Strathbogie, Matlock, Mo. I've been to Mo. On Geoguessr, I mean. Bang Warden, Murrindal. Sod it. It could be Victoria someplace. It was. It's out by Wangaratta. Oh no, it's just inside New South Wales. Just barely. Oh yeah, that was not my greatest round of Geoguessr by any standard of the imagination. Okay, and now is the time for the roasting of the reactionary content. Let's see what we've got in here. Okay. We've got... Okay, Dennis Prager talking about Kanye West and anti-Semitism, which should be interesting since he seems to be kind of okay with anti-Semitism for the most part. We've got Haz talking about why he's a libertarian Stalinist, whatever the fuck that is. Operation Abolition, the story of communism in action. Face to Face with Communism. This is some 1950s US propaganda films that I got recommended by YouTube. Yeah, we already watched one, a communist, with that, it turns out that Haz's idea of, recruiting for MAGA communism is to go around to a fash rally and say fash shit and then be shocked. Shocked and impressed when people agree with him, when he's saying the exact stuff they believe. Well, we've got two Haz things here. Well, we've got three. I guess we're gonna do libertarian Stalinist. Sounds pretty fucking buck wild. What do you think? Well, we've got... Let us see. Yeah, we've got a relatively short one called Everything is Ableist by Xander Hall. What else? Can we please stop having... Oh, this could be good. Oh, Fosh says, can we please stop having the debate bro debate? Oh, no, we cannot. I mean, it's been resolved. You guys suck. But yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
It's kind of hard to believe a person's sentiment on wealth redistribution when they...
Okay, now I just need to get this, crop right. This is a relatively long one.
They have a brand new Porsche parked in the driveway.
So wait, he just said, I think this is a reactionary talking point used to distract from their political positions, and now he's doing the exact same thing himself.
I'm sure that if my
Who is this? Okay, does anyone know who this guy is? Because I don't recognize him. And I mean, if this is an honest edit, which being Fosh, you can never really be sure about, then yeah, that is a shit talking point.
wallet was that fat, I'd be making the owners of vintage guitar stores very, very happy.
What? So you're just admitting you do the same thing? Do you know how much a vintage guitar costs? They can cost tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. See, so he's just like, Hassan, nobody needs to spend this money on these ridiculous performative commodities. I mean, I would do the same thing, but like, you know, whatever.
At the very least, please consider what else he could have done with all that money that he chooses to blow on luxury commodities.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and yeah, reasonable point. Definitely. Like, there are a lot of fucking GoFundMes amongst... we're talking about Hassan? I mean, I'm guessing his viewers have plenty of GoFundMes that would be doing very well with a little bit of that. Hell, I mean, I could go for some of that at the moment. I am trying to hold off the walls crashing in so I can get something to work right now.
He could have spent it on vintage guitars. How do they write the videos like this? Why would you structure it this way, where you say, I'm not going to make this criticism, then make the criticism, then say that you, if given the chance, would do the same thing you're criticizing?
You mean... See, why are you asking? You're asking a question that you don't have the answer to, because you do the same shit pretty often, Vosh.
And then reaffirm the criticism. Why? All right, guys. Never before seen in all of human history. Vosh leaking DMs. So as you all know, in the description of this video, it says, I do not give the...
Neat sound effects. I want those sound effects. Yeah, exactly. And I don't have a GoFundMe strictly, I have a tip jar, but it's for the same thing. I'm just trying to pay bills and, like, try to... I like the sound effect, though. I'd like to have that sound effect.
Debaters permission to look at video unless you ask. So ask.
Also, if you're Vosh, Hassan, Zenderhall, Destiny, or anybody else I spoke about who's notorious for streaming other people's content without permission, I do not give you my consent to show this video in your stream without asking in advance. Yeah, the thing is that that's called fair use when you're doing it for the purpose of criticism.
Ask I did. Hello, I said to Solari TV.
Okay, what the hell? This is a horrible arrangement he's got here. I mean, at least there's a lot that I could improve about my layout, but at least chat isn't running together with the description of the video he's looking at.
On Twitter. Hi there, he said in response. Mind me going over your video? I will make an effort to not be an enormous... I replied. Lol, he said, laughing. Sure thing. I appreciate you.
Thanks for explaining lol to
With
us.
the DMs leaked and the consent obtained. It's time.
Okay, I've never heard of this person.
It's like a YouTube apology video. You start out with an animal to humanize yourself, to diffuse a potentially tense situation. Maybe that's what I'm doing here. No.
Good.
Alright, I want to get this out of the way before we do anything else, because this is often a problem when it comes to critiquing something, whether it's a movie, a show, a video game, or, in this case, a personality, which, as you can tell from the title and thumbnail, we're going to be talking about, and indeed...
Are you physically capable of not being a cunt to these people? I want to make it clear, by the way, okay? I'm really, really sick of having to defend the concept of debate and live streaming from a political lens.
You're not having to defend the concept of debate and live streaming from a political lens, though. You're having to defend the horrible, reactionary, dishonest bullshit way in which you do debate and live streaming from a political lens. Like, pretty much all of your critics also live stream from a political lens.
It seems really weird because I don't sit here making videos on how like video essays are over or video essays are trash. Even though
No, you just lie about video essayists and claim that they're into white genocide.
I've seen lots of bad video essays and video essayists. You know, I just kind of accept diversity of tactics and leave it be. But I feel like oftentimes people make these
Diversity of tactics. See, the thing about diversity of tactics is it's based on the idea that you're trying to achieve the same goal.
these like really broad videos, and a lot of them are kind of like diss tracks against me. So I feel like I have to respond to those. Just you know, whatever.
No, you really don't have to. I think everyone would be fine if you just sort of went away.
I don't blame people for getting the wrong impression of me, like, off the bat, because there is a lot of misinformation around me that spreads around. Like,
Well, in fact, he's the one who spreads most of it. Like, if you've heard anything good about Vosh, it probably comes from Vosh. Or his little mini-me Xanderhole.
I do understand that there's going to be kind of a bias towards, disliking me. It's by default in a lot of...
Yeah, because you're an asshole.
Like, online left spaces. So I try to work, you know, while understanding that. So my my response here usually depends on how, like, I guess, like, the level of perceived misinfo or malice I see.
See, because somebody couldn't possibly dislike him from the left unless it was misinformation. He's sounding an awful lot like fucking Joe Biden right now.
Criticizing figures commonly known as debate bros, including Hassan Arbi, Vosh, Xanderhall, and any other names that might crop up.
I don't really think Hassan's considered a debate bro. I think he gets made fun of by debate bros for not...
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard him described that way. If you gave Vosh an enema, Xanderhall would come swimming out.
One of the major problems that arises when discussing certain figures, whether they are on the left, right, or center of the political spectrum, is the parasocial attachments that their audiences can form with them, something we'll talk about in greater detail later on in the video. This often results in certain people refusing to accept criticism of the figure that they're attached to, and in some ways seeing it as an attack directed at them by association.
And in the case of Vosh, he's created all these fucking roving dog piles. He's given a whole lot of people permission to do a whole lot of horrible harassment, and they just want to harass people.
This is a problem everywhere, right? Like, the idea of people going super hard to defend their preferred content creator is hardly specific to live streamers. I mean, have you seen, like, I don't know, PewDiePie fans historically or whatever? It's...
what, you mean Fash?
It's a thing.
Maybe someone who clicked on this video with the intention of shooting me down before you've even finished hearing what I have to say. You may not even be aware that you have that level of attachment, but if you find that what I have to say does anger you in some way...
I like the color of his jacket.
...or possibly compels you to personally attack me in the comments, I can't stop you, but I would like you to ask yourself what it is that upset you, when at the end of the day, I'm not criticizing you as an individual or as someone whose part of joy is not a personal attack.
Okay.
I mean, and that's a very good point. Yes, critique of something you enjoy is not inherently a personal attack. Now, sometimes it can be. I mean, sometimes it can be, if that's the whole idea of it. Sometimes it can be. But it isn't that automatically. It's a critique plus a person of something you enjoy plus a specific slight aimed at a person at the person in question is a personal attack on the person in question, possibly. But yes, and honestly, as far as I'm concerned, people who actually enjoy Vosh lying about people and inciting racist harassment on them, I'm kind of fine with them taking it personally when I say that they're wasting their lives.
There's also the possibility that they feel like you're wrong about the thing that you're attacking, though, right? Like, if if you like something and somebody attacks that thing on a bad premise, you know,
Yeah, can't you please stop attacking Vosh? Don't take Vosh away from people. Whatever happened to the true spirit of Christmas? What if the children stop believing in Vosh? It's not about him, you see. It's not about Vosh. It's about the children.
you wouldn't like that to begin with, right? Even if you don't feel personally attacked.
I shouldn't have.
He's getting called out in the comments. Vosh preloading the viewer. If you don't agree with me, you must have already been in mind to disagree with me before you heard me. Well, okay. In this case, I kind of am, because every take I've heard from him kind of sucks. But, yeah.
I have to say this, but I'm painfully aware that this is exceedingly common when it comes to online discourse. And to be real with you, I'd rather not wake up tomorrow and find comments from people who are acting like I broke into their house on Christmas Day and pissed on all their presents.
Too late.
Oh, wow. I mean, in before.
I have faith that you can handle this without getting angry, so have some faith in yourself too. Anyway, let's go.
I see. That is a strange kind of faith to have in YouTube commenters. I don't know that I have that kind of faith. I have that faith in chat. We've got good people in chat. I mean, I somehow, like, the people who have ended up becoming regulars in my chat have not been the sort of people who do that sort of shit. I mean, I'm saying this about a handful of people, admittedly. There are, like, right now 3 people in chat. But, I mean, YouTube commenters in general, I wouldn't express that kind of faith in.
Why do they always insist on buttering up the viewer? Just make your arguments. I mean, to be fair, people...
It's called an introduction.
Who criticize me in the left do tend to get a lot of negative attention. The problem...
Well, I wonder why that is, Vosh. Could it be that you direct harassment at them?
A lot of the criticisms of me are, like, insane, right? Like, a lot... Like,
Oh, nice ableism there, and...
I feel like I don't get many moderate criticisms, and when I do, they tend to be okay. Like,
yeah, oh, so there's, like... This is such a fucking... This is, like... This is such liberal propaganda bullshit right here that he's channeling. Because it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's not... It's not... You're allowed to criticize the Democrats. But we want the moderate criticism. We don't want this wild lefty criticism where you say, you know, they suck and where's our fucking healthcare and we've lost a huge number of people to COVID and you're just kind of playing with your pricks the whole time. No, we want the moderate criticism where it's like, couldn't you lower taxes on the rich a bit more?
Remember when Zoe Baker came on in ArcoPack and was like, hey, anarchism stuff. Like, I don't think Zoe Baker got a lot of shit either. Like, people come on and disagree with me.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Zoe Baker, chat. Are you familiar with her, and are you familiar with what he's describing?
Like, it tends to go... The problem is, like, if somebody makes a video and it's like a litany of, like, attacks on me, things can get a bit spicy, but...
In the past...
Things can get a bit spicy. See, this is him basically... I mean, every time he's actually been confronted head-on with the point that hate mobs, like really just horrible racist hate mobs, are directed at any content creator, especially, leftists of color, who criticize him, he's always like, no, that's not a thing that happens. Here he's just admitting it. He's just, like, outright saying, yeah, I mean... If you say bad things about me, it could get a bit spicy. Phoenix Rising 87 says, funny how everything Fush warned us would happen if Trump won in 2020 has happened under Biden, and in some cases, even worse shit than that.
Past few years, the
I would
debate
add.
has seen a massive rise in popularity. As you can guess, these tend to be young cis men who, for the most part, are white, that almost exclusively produce their content via streaming platforms.
Wait, Shoeonhead is in the fucking chat, in his chat? That's pretty mask off.
Which is Twitch. They also have successful YouTube channels with large amounts of subscribers and views, where they post clips from their streams and, on the rare occasion, some content that's produced in advance, much like mine.
We gotta get Shark in here. Where's Shark? When is Shark getting added to the debate, bro? Like, the
Oh, he's got transphobia in his chat.
Like, the lineup.
Rise in popularity of streaming and audiences' growing desire for frequent, fresh content, Debate Bros have sort of filled a lucrative gap in the market, which was unintentionally created by the inception of long-form video.
Okay, and when he says that when she came on Vosh's stream, that that she didn't get a whole lot of shit or whatever, that it wasn't there wasn't some sort of hate mob or something like that, or harassment or anything like that. Is that true? What was, when she came on, do you know anything about what happened after she came on his show?
When a particular genre explodes in popularity, an audience's thirst for it grows, and understandably with a format such as a video essay that needs to be researched, written...
This is Demon Mama Erasure. Does Demon Mama self-identify as a debate female bro? Bre? We'll just say Bre. Let's just assume Bre is female bro.
Fuck off.
Does Demon Mama... No? Okay. Debate ho. Gotcha. Debate ho.
Oh, yeah, that's wonderful there.
And recorded and edited over a long period of time, it can be hard to satisfy an audience that consumes large amounts of content daily. It's the same reason Disney...
Yeah, I mean, and it's true, the reason I don't do more video essays is precisely that researching, editing, and actually doing the writing and stuff, that takes a hell of a lot of time. Like, I mean, it's amazing how much time will go into editing a very short clip. Wait, I mean, Shuon Head's Fash. It was my understanding of it.
Plans out a timeline for its Marvel movie releases and now produces TV show content between them. They understand and cultivate the need to consistently consume their products to avoid a loss in interest. Because of the supposed sparseness and inconsistency of leftist-focused content on YouTube,
Well, it's not sparse. It is not supposed. It is sparse. It is inconsistent. And it is completely throttled by the algorithm, which is why, like, you'll have, like, some of the biggest names in leftist content creators on YouTube. And, you know, they'll peak at having maybe, a few hundred people in chat. A few hundred viewers when they stream, like Thought Slime's streams, Thought Slime's weekend streams. Those tend to have less than 100 people in chat. Whereas, like, fucking fash fuckers like Tim Pool, for example, will easily have viewers in the thousands because the algorithm totally boosts him. Of course they do. They love a redemption arc that doesn't have any arc in it.
Streamers had the opportunity to capitalize on a growing interest in this field, where they were not
This is completely true.
only able to produce content without all the planning and work that goes into creating video essays, they were able to do so daily, serving as a voice for their audience, arguably becoming figureheads of a growing movement, as they are happening, all while interacting with an audience themselves in a position where they're left without anything to talk about. They're essentially...
See, I don't even know anything about this guy, although the thing that I immediately kind of would get the hairs on my neck get a little bit on edge when talks about the supposed sparseness of leftist content on YouTube and Twitch and stuff, because it is pretty sparse. Hello, Demand Better Entertainment. Welcome.
the most interesting...
We're looking at,
Fosh.
Fosh.
Next to me. That's...
This is, Fosh responding to somebody I've never heard of, who's critiquing him from an angle I'm not entirely sure about, but so far has mostly said fairly reasonable stuff. And Fosh has mostly just been sort of preloading the discussion to suggest that anyone who thinks he's a horrible person must have experienced misinformation from somebody other than him.
That's my prerogative. But thank you, I appreciate that.
Everyone wants to hear what they have to say about everything and anything, and their insight is more valuable than anyone else in the room. Obviously, this is...
So if Vosh is a debate, bro, what is the quartering? Asks Vosh's chat. Well, I mean, the quartering is, Vosh if he doesn't have an electric shaver handy. Take away his electric shaver, and he's the quartering. That's there. You never see the two of them in one room because actually they're just the same guy.
This is basically just how streaming works. You have the platform and the audience, but the unique selling point of streaming compared to something like YouTube is that there's greater emphasis and utilities for audience interaction, where the streamer is able to offer almost immediate feedback. Unless you're someone like me, since my connection dropped so many frames that you think my stream was a PowerPoint presentation. Shout out to Spectrum for their garbage, overpriced internet, and their threat with the streamer. It's much easier.
Wait, Spectrum? Okay, so he's based in the US then. They don't have Spectrum cable in Britain. Okay, he's just watching the entire thing here.
For hours on end.
Live streaming or whatever. don't think there's anything wrong with this. Like, you know, if you're getting like an intro to live streaming or whatever.
With this,
yeah, we don't need an intro to live streaming. We're doing live streaming right now. I mean, an intro to doing cool shit with OBS, I wouldn't mind, but he's not doing that. So we can let's skip ahead a little bit. Yeah.
You know, how does the face change? Yeah, goldfish brain. You're like a little kid thinking there are tiny people in the radio.
Wait, okay, what is...
My mouth like that.
I feel like I skipped ahead too far now.
To live. One of the most important things that I learned, though, is that everyone is different when it comes to being sold to. Some people like directness, some like it when you're personable, etc. In a way, ideas are much like products. If you want someone to buy into it, you have to sell it to them.
Be slipping.
See, I found that ideas don't necessarily have to be sold. Like, the worse the idea is, the more you have to sell it a lot of the time. Because, like, when I think about, like, the major ideas that I have really sort of adopted in my life, it isn't... what sold it to me was life. What sold them to me was life.
Assure them that they'll benefit from it in some way and that they're making the right choice, all while allowing them to come to the conclusion on their own. As the saying goes, he's selling the sizzle, not the steak. Left-leaning debate bros have been beneficial. Social platforms
I don't know about that.
Have long been a battleground of ideas where people are steadfast in their beliefs, no one really listening to the other, and I believe that's largely because when you're just discussing...
I hate stock videos. Okay, listen.
Yeah, I mean, and what he's saying here is just, I mean, I can see why this is the criticism Vosh wants to respond to, because so far it has been just so fucking Robert O'Rourke milquetoast. Like, there wasn't a need for a debate with fascists. Their ideas they're not some sort of novel ideas that we needed refuted. We didn't need to listen to each other. We already know what they want. What they want is fucking horrible. We just need to expose them and deal with them. Platforming them and trying to make content for their audience that does not challenge their audience at all, which is Vosh and Sanderhol's business model, is not a benefit except to the far right.
Listen, here's the thing, okay? I don't do any editing. My editors do. I love it when they put stuff...
God, he can afford to pay fucking editors.
...videos in because I'm fucking retarded. So...
Oh, wonderful. More fucking ableism. Jesus Christ, dude.
Whenever there's a stock video clip thrown in there, I think they shot it at first before I realize. This happens every time. When they throw a clip in there and it's like a dramatic shot of like a camera panning over a keyboard or something, my immediate thought is like, wow, they set that up? And I'm thinking that for a second, I'm like, wait, no, they didn't. But it had my...
Okay.
brain defaults to that every time.
So he assumes everybody else actually does their own work? Even though he doesn't?
Because of my tiny brain. So I'm like
God, I mean, you couldn't really pay me enough to go through his shit and edit it to the point where it's coherent. Yeah, I know. Xanderhole has a thing where he's like taking the piss out of the concept of ableism.
Yeah, I'm like a 2-year-old, you know, like you can just do any magic trick in front of me and I'll be impressed, you know.
Well, yeah, we remember what you said about Biden. Nobody needs to be reminded.
You know, how does the face change? Yeah, goldfish brain. You're like a little kid thinking there are tiny people in the radio. I love the little gay people in my phone.
These things with regular people online, it can be hard to convince them when you're an unknown quantity with no influence or notoriety. You're just a stranger with no face telling another faceless stranger that what they believe is wrong or flawed. Streamers, on the other hand, do have influence, massive amounts.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. He has very little self-awareness.
hence why the term influencer has such a broad definition. They have an audience, and they're there for a reason. As such, they have more power when it comes to changing minds, especially when they're able to directly interact with them on a platform like Twitch. The streamer Destiny, who most definitely couldn't be defined as a leftist.
Yeah, okay, thank you, that's quite correct. Nice to hear that said. The last time I heard somebody talking about fucking Destiny, they actually made him declared him part of BreadTube? Yeah, of course he thinks ableist languages has no connection to systemic ableism because he wants to engage in ableist language and he does not want to do anything that might challenge himself. I mean, this is the guy who thinks there's something like fundamentally morally wrong with expecting ex-Nazis to earn our trust before we let them into our spaces. So I'm not surprised that he insists on the easiest approach to anything and comes up with some bullshit philosophical justification for it.
I thought his name was Others.
Gain notoriety for his ability to deconstruct people's arguments and their beliefs.
Except he's not very good at those things.
A way that was so effective that numerous people have proclaimed that it was his words that convinced them that they had flaws in their far-right ideologies, and
which was a really interesting sort of point on the plot arc that led to him openly espousing far-right ideologies. Yeah, exactly. They are. I mean, they were actual diagnoses. Yeah, Caleb Muppet actually has deleted his YouTube, last I heard.
Ultimately changed their mind. Similarly, Sam Cedar from the Majority Report gained some level of notoriety by...
Yeah, Sam Cedar is the original debate bro, by the way. Like, nobody gives him credit for that. But for years and years, this guy has, like, brought people on, mostly libertarians, and just, like...
Which is interesting, because that kind of makes the point right there, that, I mean, the sort of OG debate bro is a liberal. Because it is a very liberal thing that we're doing with the whole debate broviating thing.
And the funny thing is that Sam, despite being a very nice guy, is very fucking mean to the people he debates. Like, because he's on, like, he's doing, like, the radio call-in thing, so he's got, like...
Well, wait, you're calling somebody else mean to the people he debates? I mean, you accuse, like, fucking Professor Flowers of advocating white genocide when she didn't say that, and Sam Cedar's the mean one?
Limited time slots. He's not like me, where he can just sit here for 3 hours and argue with somebody in circles. Like, if somebody's wasting his time, he'll just...
I would say it's not just Xanderhol's audience, either, enabling his bullshit, because the thing is, Xanderhol looks clearly looks up to Foch, way more than any person ever should look up to him. If Foch said, cut that shit out, that's not cool, he would cut that shit out, I think. That's my impression. Because he never criticizes Foch. And Foch never criticizes him that I've seen. They have this, like, sort of weird mutual admiration society shit going on. And so, like, if Foch said that wasn't okay, I have a feeling Xanderhol would probably go along with it in a way that he would not if other people said it. Just because he's so clearly modeling everything about himself on the fucking miserable style of Vosh.
It's like, he'll just be fucking mean to people. It's really funny, you know? Sam Cedar's the ideal man. Yes, he is.
Inviting calls from libertarians.
He's the best beard we've seen, actually. I will say that. I mean, of the 3 hair beard combos, 4. There was Inevitability was there. Of the 4 hair beard combos we've seen so far in this stream, I would have to say Sam Cedar wins.
Definitely dismantling their arguments. Something into a
Foch
pile of
thinks he's
failure.
hot. Yes, I do.
Thank you for saying that, Sam. You're a horrible, despicable person. Thank you for having me on your show.
Sam's great. He gets a pass. The internet.
See, Sam always gets a pass. He can...
Well, Sam, to my knowledge, doesn't, like, direct white supremacist hate mobs at people. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here. Maybe I've missed it. I, for a long time, was unaware of all of the, like, 10 pounds of shit that comes out of Vosh all the time. But I've never heard anything like Sam Cedar saying anything like that. You know, directing racist hate mobs at people and stuff like that. Anything like what Xanderhol or Foch do. every single fucking stream.
You can say it. Why can't I say it?
Pretty great, right? You can do stuff like look
Oh,
at
wait, we're surf sharking. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's see where he goes with this.
nice pictures, check out some memes, buy stuff you
Fuck, never mind.
don't need while drunk at 3 a.m. Helps you remain secure and anonymous while you're connected to the internet.
Oh, okay. And no, Surfshark isn't fucking sponsoring me, so they don't get... I mean, I don't think I do sponsorships on this channel. My language channel, Hyperpolyglotting, if some, like, language-related sponsor that I would actually, in good conscience, be able to endorse, say, Routledge Publishing, I don't know, yeah, or somebody like that, then I would take a sponsorship there, but I wouldn't take one here. But yeah, I'm certainly not going to show his fucking sponsors. I'm actually trying to cut through because I'm not really looking to, like, argue against him. I don't even know who he is. I just want to get to the shit that
with the way that they use their words.
Fosh
As
is
I
going to
mentioned
say.
a moment ago, the average person doesn't have much power unless they're truly gifted. One thing I've noticed over the past few years is the higher frequency of people on the internet and sometimes real life who approach political discussion in a way that's not productive, to put it kindly.
Oh, well, what does that mean exactly?
The kind of person who will go on subreddits or Discord servers containing groups.
I don't know how much that's true. The only real change that I've noticed to discourse is that over the past 2 or 3 years, conservatives in this country have more openly bought into anti-empiricism as a part of, like, Donald Trump's, like, haha, all politics is trolling kind of thing. But even back in, like, 2014 with Gamergate.
See, this is where Fosh has it over his Enderhole every time. He can say things like anti-empiricism because he has an undergraduate degree in sociology, you see. And he remembers words. He doesn't necessarily use them correctly, but he can say them in that authoritative tone where he sort of talks like this. And he's going to just sit here and talk like this over and over again, and he's going to talk over you, and he's going to talk really fast, and he's never going to have any sign that he needs to pause or anything like that, even as you're trying to make your point. And it sounds very authoritative because he's a white guy with a beard who can use big words even if he doesn't necessarily know what they mean. And that's it. That's his fucking cachet in a nutshell.
It was really bad. And then before that, it was the
That's
New
his
Age
gravaturd.
really bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know if people have gotten worse with the discourse. I just feel like the discourse has gotten louder. I don't know if its quality has necessarily reduced, outside of the more open shift towards fascism.
Which I would say also includes Fosh. He has really shifted openly towards fascism.
But I can hardly be blamed for that, hopefully.
Oh yeah, you fucking can. You've been a major part of that. In fact, de-radicalizing leftists and, you know, sort of making, or like potential leftists, and making them okay with fash content if it's fash who like you, that's your thing. I mean, yeah, you've played a major role in making the discourse suck.
Who are ideologically opposed to them with the intention of being antagonistic by speaking down to people, patronizing them, being dismissive, throwing insults, and just being caustic. Their beliefs might be for the overall benefit of society, but the intention of this approach isn't necessarily to convince others, it's to come across as intellectually superior to them, putting across the message that people who don't align with them are inherently dumb and therefore deserving of derision. While there
Well, okay, it sounds like we're talking about Fosh now.
are plenty of people out there who are willingly ignorant when it comes to...
I don't know, because, like...
Yeah, see, there you go. He's being willingly ignorant. He doesn't know.
While I do agree that there are some debate bro communities, you know, others, that are mostly about, like, the egotistical satiation of a perceived intellectual superiority, and that don't...
The egotistical satiation of a perceived intellectual superiority. Fucking hell, dude. See... He can do that. He has, like, he got the fucking, he rolled a 6 and got the vocabulary bonus. And he managed, and that's it. That's what he's got.
Don't have much to do with, like, a principled advocacy for any actual positions. The idea...
Well, I mean, you managed to combine the causticity with principled advocacy for horrible positions.
of, like, condescension being specific to, like, the debate bro community, I don't think is true at all.
Well, I mean, of course you would say that, Vosh. I mean, yeah, you don't have a patent on condescension, Vosh. But, I mean, I would say that you have got a non-exclusive perpetual license.
Because the most condescending motherfuckers on here are like the woke scoldy video essay types, right?
Oh, okay. So there we go with the Ben Shapiro language. And I like how the most okay, so he's not the condescending one. I mean, that's like all he does is condescend to people on subjects he doesn't know anything about.
Right? Like I have to put it another way. I've never made a video on how like video essayists are like it's bad and they shouldn't do video essays or whatever.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, video essay, there isn't this culture around fucking video essayists. Yeah, you'd have to actually lie about that, which is not, as we know in the case of Vosh, an impediment. But I think that he would. I mean, he has individually libeled video essayists. I mean, fucking Professor Flowers comes to mind as just one example among many. But the thing is, it's not like there's some sort of reciprocity here. There's a difference. There's the one group of people who are like standing reactionary shit, being really just condescending assholes, cultivating followings that are full of fash, and promoting like hate mobs and harassment and all this sort of stuff on social media to silence their critics, and then you've got video essayists. So it's not like you're doing them a favor by not talking about it. This is not a situation of mutually assured destruction here. There is a fundamental difference, a political and also moral difference, I would say, between even the worst shit I see in the world of video essayists and what he does.
But like there are lots of videos out there. Not necessarily this one, but there are videos out there where it's literally like, yeah, just debating is just bad, period, you know? And it's like, well, come on, you know? I don't
Oh, wait, this is my fucking meal ticket here. You can't just say it's bad. You can't say platforming is fascist is bad when it's how I make my fucking money. That's kind of ableist, I have to say. And I don't know if Bellevue even exists anymore. That may have been privatized and turned into luxury flats.
I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to say. Like
It's weird how in this country, in the U.S., people from thousands of miles away from New York City, when they try to come up with the name of a psych ward that people would know of, it's just one in New York and not one like I can't even. Actually, I can name one because it is just around here. It is because it was just a fucking wild thing. I saw this in some sort of like Medicaid credentialing thing that I was looking through at some point. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there's a fucking like psych facility here in Cincinnati called Hotel California. I'm not even fucking making that up. It's Hotel California LLC, and the facility is literally called Hotel California. So, okay, that's one. That's a memorable one, but I mean, I don't think any of you've heard of it. I hadn't heard of it until I happened to see that. No worries, everybody makes the mistake sometimes, and the thing about ableism is people don't see it quite as often. It's just not as visible. I mean, we have to actually work to be visible about it. I have to work on that. I have to work on that too, though. I mean, it took me a while.
Like
I think I do better
like
now.
Trying to figure out where one particular corn kernel came from in the middle of a food fight in a cafeteria. Like I don't know. There's a lot of shit going around.
Discussing politics, beliefs are formed through a variety of deep and complex ways. They're interwoven with your socialization and environment, and I personally don't believe that it's right.
In my brain, I'm thinking like, dude, he set up this shop with all these
socialization
protesters
and environment.
Oh God, look at all those masks. All those comrades and all those masks. That's beautiful to see. God, we need more of that.
Dude, how much did this video cost to make?
And I personally don't believe that it's right nor fair to accuse someone of being stupid just because they don't share your beliefs. Debate bros are...
Also, it's just fucking ableist again.
Wait, no, wait, you totally can. Yeah, if the belief is stupid, I think that's okay.
No, well, of course the fucking Vosh would have absolutely no problem with that.
For sure. if a person believes like the Earth is flat or whatever, like yeah, you can call them like yeah. I mean, maybe calling them stupid isn't the most convincing or effective tactic for changing their mind, but like, come on, they believe the Earth is flat. Like, what do you know, you gotta.
Like, okay, is this all this is gonna be? This is boring, actually. I'm personally finding this somewhat boring. Yeah, I mean, masks are the one thing that'll protect against facial recognition and COVID, and I can't help thinking that the way the state hates one of the most effective public health precautions that are available to us in the midst of this absolute fucking catastrophe we're living through just happens to be one that fucks up facial recognition technology. Is anyone interested in just switching videos? Because this one isn't. This is actually beginning to bore me a bit. Okay, the Xander hole one. That's a shorter one anyway. Okay. How to be a rational patriot. We already saw that. Okay, there we go. Xander hole.
Well, well, well. Do I feel a strong feeling of vindication right now?
Probably, but that is completely independent of there being any reason for you to feel vindicated.
Ain't that right, Luna? Don't I stand vindicated as fuck right now?
Probably not. But go on. We have one. What if? Let's judge this for ourselves.
So, if you've been a long-term viewer of mine, you might remember a little bit of an ancient drama that happened on my channel, in which there was this sort of kind of a Twitter war that I and my audience engaged in from a lot of 2019 to like 2021.
Okay. See, I mean, Vosh tries to be a little bit cagey about the hate mobs he sends out, and here's fucking Xanderhole being like, yeah, we started a Twitter
I'd
war.
say, against a group of people on Twitter, one can only label the label of woke scold.
Okay, so this is already, yes. This is already looking much more promising. So, okay, so these are people who aren't white supremacists, basically. The people that you decided to have this Twitter war against?
Now, these people are basically very, very over-the-top, like stereotypical lefties who get overly offended at every little thing.
Yeah, you don't get to... You're an ex-Nazi, motherfucker. You don't get to say that. You don't get to be the one who gets to criticize people for being overly offended over everything. You still got the fact that you're an ex-Nazi to live down, and you've never actually shown any desire to truly reckon with that. You've just fucking monetized it. You're gonna talk about how people are easily offended. Fuck off. You're offended by the existence of the concept of ableism, apparently.
They use their identity as a crutch or a shield, while at the same time...
I mean, that's actually kind of ableist too, incidentally, because the thing about a crutch is, the reason you use a crutch, unless you're, like, beating somebody down with it, which, I mean, a different use case entirely, but, the reason you use a crutch is because you're hurt, and you need it to walk. That's not a bad thing. That's not, like, a criticism.
Engaging in the most abusive, hateful behavior towards others. They virtue signal nonstop.
Oh, god, I should have, like, a far-right buzzword counter when I do him.
Concern, troll, and engage in harassment and cancel culture to a degree.
Oh god, he's just, there we go, that's the third, fash buzzword.
That is beyond anything you could consider reasonable. I think we all know the types of people I'm talking about here. Well, you know, I had my run-ins with that crowd on Twitter, and I still do to this day, though I feel like I've BTFO'd them enough now that they don't give me much issues anymore.
So, okay, once again, this is him just talking about how he harasses people to the left of him.
However, we're dipping our toes back into it today, and I feel quite vindicated because for a while, I used to argue that if this mindset of over-fragility, of hyper-fragility, and that's what it is hyper-fragility.
Okay, what is it? What is what it is that it is hyperfragility?
Becomes too dominant in the left, it will extend beyond simply being intolerant of harmful rhetoric or harmful words. And
BTFO, Jill, means back the fuck off. I think. I'm assuming that that's what it stands for in this case. I mean, it could be bought the fucking olive oil.
Expanding to a hyper...
I'd like to start a meme where BTFO stands for bought the fucking olive oil. Just to be just very confusing and surreal.
Esoteric, over the top...
Are you gonna tell us what you're talking about?
Ridiculous crackdown socially on things that are tangentially, barely, arguably problematic.
Okay, what are you talking about here? Like, are you gonna tell us what you're talking about? We're 2 minutes into this thing, we still don't know what you feel vindicated by.
So, this is what we're talking about today. This tweet didn't get a lot of support, thankfully. Only 734 likes, but it got a whole lot of quote tweets.
Okay, some ableist words you should probably cut out of your vocabulary because they're ableist. Yeah, all of those. Every single one of those. That's quite right. All of those things are ableist. I mean, like, this is a good list. And anyone who tries to pretend that intellectual disabilities, developmental disabilities, mental health disabilities aren't disabilities, that somehow doesn't fall under ableism, probably either at best they just really haven't given the whole thing a whole lot of thought. But in the case of Xanderhole, I think he's spent enough time thinking about it that he knows perfectly well that what he's doing is fucked up.
Some ableist words you should probably cut out of your vocabulary because they're ableist. Idiot or idiotic. Crazy. Differently abled. Well, I mean, that's okay. Dumb.
Well, if you say so, Xanderhole, since you are the arbiter of all that is good, apparently.
Insane. Lame. Moron. Psycho. Well, okay, psycho's arguably ableist.
What do you mean it's arguably ableist? All of these things are arguably I mean, they're more than arguably. And how are you going to say that psycho is arguably ableist, but insane is not?
Specially abled. That's okay, ableist. Or stupid. Okay.
So, okay, now remember the title of this thing, as you can see at the top of the screen, I believe, is everything. No, you actually can't. You can't see it at the top of the screen. I did not crop this well. Is everything is ableist. And so far, what he's talking about is how like literal ableist slurs are ableist.
Especially if you've these words for a long time, it'll take time to cut it out. If you do accidentally say one, just say sorry, I mean whatever non-ableist word instead. Unlearning these things takes time. We appreciate the actual effort.
Well, yeah, okay, that's a very reasonable thing to say. Like, what is he, okay, this is like the most accommodating way somebody could possibly say this. Yeah, and he's getting offended by it, and he's going to talk about some hyperfragility.
I'm sorry, guys, but there is no other way to describe this tweet and this mindset other than hyperfragile.
You're offended by somebody just saying try to make the effort to cut these ableist words out of your vocabulary, dude. You don't get to talk about somebody being hyper fragile just for pointing out some ableist shit. Oh yeah. Hey, if you start a GoFundMe for that, Phoenix, first of all, probably leave the bit about chasing him down out of it. They might not approve that, but also drop a link in the Discord and I will share that. I mean, I don't have much of a reach, but I'll certainly help out.
Now, I'm not actually arguing that this mindset's a sincere threat to the left. I don't.
Well, that's thank fuck for that, because the idea that maybe the left should not be a place that is hostile to people with disabilities, including mental health disabilities and developmental disabilities, I would like to think that that's a kind of basic thing that we would consider part of being on the left, as opposed to being harmful. I mean, and first of all, and also, dude, your entire unique selling point is you're an ex-Nazi. You don't get to talk about what's harmful to the left. You're part of what's harmful to the left.
Listen, I don't want you guys to think you need to go harass this person or go tell them how it really is or anything. Don't go after this person.
Oh, yes, don't go after this person. I have made every effort to identify to the person, to an audience that is notorious for harassing people.
Let's just laugh at this person through the glass. You know, it's like a zoo, right? You laugh at the dumb fucks through the glass, but you don't actually.
Oh, well, see, that's a word she should have added. I mean, okay, one thing we could say about this list is incomplete. That the one he just said, that goes on there.
Actually go through the glass and fuck with the animals, right? Listen, if this mindset were to become so strong among the left that you literally could not step out of line with this,
then people with disabilities would not constantly be in a hostile environment on the left? That sounds like a good thing. You're threatening me with a good time right now, Xanderhole. Like, I mean, what you seem to be saying is you like to say ableist shit, sort of like you like to say anti-Semitic shit, like you like to say other racist shit. Like, you just kind of like to say pretty reactionary shit a whole lot of the time. And you're feeling that if there are standards, like if people say that the dignity of people with disabilities comes before your desire to use ableist slurs, then the left is not a hospitable place for you, and the thing is, it shouldn't fucking be a hospitable place for you.
Without getting socially ostracized, like legit socially ostracized, there would really be no way for left-wing pundits, left-wing debaters, left-wing political analysts, or basically lefty insert the people whose job it is to convince people they ought to be left-wing people.
Wait, there would be... Is he saying...
Would not be capable of criticizing the mental state in...
Wait, so criticizing the mental state of somebody, that's the fucking problem, dude. That's what's wrong with this. That's why it's ableist. Why are we criticizing the mental state? Why don't we criticize the behavior and the ideology and the moral character of what's going on?
Any subtle way, nor the way through which conservatives reach their positions on a logical level.
Well... Yeah, I see. That's funny because I have done everything I can to keep all of these words out of my mouth and out of my pen for quite some time now. And I can tell you, I have no trouble criticizing how reactionaries get there. I mean, it's motivated reasoning, it's believing propaganda that happens to be convenient and fit in with their, self-image. And in a lot of the time, it's rich motherfuckers whose class interest lies in making up wild bullshit in order to convince people to go against their class interest. See, wow. I just did the impossible. I just... I just provided a fundamental criticism of the entirety of right-wing rhetoric, including Xanderholes. And, without using any of those fucking words or any allusion to any of those fucking words.
You're literally taking away the ability to, like, on a social level, if you argue this is genuinely something that lefties ought to phase out of their vocabulary, taking away the ability to insult the intelligence of conservatives.
That's okay. Wow, you're so close to the point. The whole thing is that we're trying not to treat intellectual and developmental disabilities like there's something people should be ashamed of because it's just something that people have. I mean, especially at a time when COVID is doing all sorts of fucked up brain damage to people. And people are having to live with that. That's not their fucking fault. That's not something they should feel ashamed of. And I honestly don't think that we should have a culture that makes them feel ashamed of that any more than somebody who has it for any other fucking reason. Why do we need to insult their intelligence? We've got so many better ways of insulting them. Why don't we insult their moral character? Nobody's telling you not to do that. I'm happy to insult their moral character. I do it all the time. See, let me show you how you do it, Xanderhole. I'll do it with you. And that's how I'm going to wrap up the stream. See, Xanderhole, you're completely full of shit. You are just completely driven by monetizing your personal, political, and moral failure of buying into the far right, and you do it from clearly a position of considerable privilege, because that looks like a pretty expensive digs you got there. You show absolutely no interest in understanding anything you do not already know. You are actively hostile to ideas that are unfamiliar to you or that in any way challenge your fucked up reactionary worldview. And you really don't want anything to get between you and your fucking revenue stream. There we go. See, I just provided a pretty biting, I would say, fundamental criticism of Xanderhole. Didn't insult his intelligence once. I don't care about his intelligence. I mean, if he's more intelligent, then that doesn't make him better. Somebody who is, like, more intelligent and is saying all this bullshit? What that means is that, I mean, first of all, let's knock this on the head. The intelligence is not a single trait. It is not a thing that people have or lack. And it is not a thing that can be measured by fucking IQ. That's just some bullshit that's invented basically to do racism better. This is not a single trait. But if somebody has... if somebody has a greater ability to perceive and analyze, let's say, and comprehend ideas like this, and says this stuff, that they have less of an excuse to say it. Like, insulting his intelligence would be to suggest he can't help it. I think, and I don't know. I don't know whether he can help it. I don't care whether he can help it. I just don't like what he's doing, and I'm going to point out what's wrong with it. And take the piss out of him for it occasionally. See, isn't that interesting how I managed to go through a very detailed critique? The very thing he says is totally impossible without using one ableist slur. Because it's not hard. The English language has tens of thousands of words, and a lot of them are excellent ways to throw shade at an asshole. Like, you can call him an asshole, for example. And with that, it is after 1 o'clock. And I am going to wrap up. As always, I will be back tomorrow night at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. Thank you for spending this hour and a half with me. I always enjoy it. And if you're not already in the Discord, let me just drop that link one more time, as well as my tip jar. If you enjoy the stream, please consider paying for the stream. It helps pay the bills, helps me do more of what I enjoyed doing, and what you seem to enjoy as well. These are hard times, and I wouldn't want anyone to feel pressured to do it, but if you can and you want to, I appreciate it if you do. Have a very good night, and we'll get back to this tomorrow. He'll keep.